Hey everybody, it's Fox with FoxeoGames, and this is a Fox First Scent of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for the Nintendo Switch. I was a huge fan of the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Nintendo Wii. Felt like it needed to really be on a more powerful platform, but unfortunately, Monolith Soft is owned by Nintendo, so I think we're pretty much only going to see this entire series come out on Nintendo-only platforms. I ended up playing most of the Wii game, well, on the Wii, obviously, and then I played the latter half, or maybe really one-third of it, emulated on a PC. That way I was able to get better graphics with an HD texture pack. Obviously, there's no Switch emulator at this time. There won't be for quite a while. So I'm stuck playing this on the Switch, which unfortunately has... You know, the graphics aren't really as good as they could be and probably should be. You can see here that, although it's not quite, GameCube standards, it almost looks like a beefy GameCube at 1080p. And that's really not a compliment at all. It is hard at times to take this game seriously. It does try to be serious at times, but it's difficult given the cartoonish nature of the graphics, both from aesthetic point of view, how they design the game, but also really from a technical standpoint, because the less powerful a system is, the more the 3D graphics then tend to look kind of cartoonish in nature, unless, if you go for a realistic look with a system like the Switch, generally isn't going to be the best looking. Although there is Skyrim out there, it's okay, but obviously not even as good as its 2011 versions on the other consoles. The controls feel solid, just using the dog ear controller setup. That's when you put the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons in the little plastic doohickey that comes with it to make it feel more like a solid controller. I think it would obviously be best played with the Switch Pro controller, which I do not have at the moment. Although from what I can see, it looks and must feel almost identical to the Wii U Pro controller, which I do have. Unfortunately, there's only one save file, so you can only save your game to that single file, so you cannot save multiple copies of your game as you're going through. A lot of people like to save at key points so that they can go back and play through a little differently or change up or just go back and play through key moments. You can't do that here. I haven't found any other way to save other than that single file. The music in the game struck me as being decent to good, but so far it falls short of the original Xenoblade Chronicles in that nothing really stands out. Xenoblade Chronicles hit me from the very beginning with an incredible title screen song, and unfortunately Xenoblade Chronicles 2 just hasn't done that yet, so that's one down a notch for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but that's okay. It's not all about comparison. What we're really interested in is whether it's a good game overall. In combat, it's quite similar to the original Xenoblade Chronicles, except in this case, instead of scrolling through options at the bottom where you go left to right and kind of pick one, here they're mapped to the buttons on your Joy-Con. It does limit you to 3 special arts, as they call them, your special skills that you charge up as you hit an enemy. And then, of course, there's a special one at the end for your blade. Essentially, you have drivers and blades. The driver is like the character you control, and the blade is a character you do not directly control that offers assistance and sort of backs you up. So it's a weird system. It's hard to explain. It makes more sense if you play through it. The game is very heavy on the JRPG style and aesthetics, but it does maintain the original game's semi-open world gameplay. It's not open world in the sense that you just start out and can go anywhere, but it does open up, and as you unlock the different areas, you can go back and explore through them at your own will. There is a skip travel, which is a fast travel option, so that's definitely useful in any game that's even semi-open world. You will encounter a lot of enemies that are just kind of wandering around that you are not meant to tackle early on. In fact, I'm like level 5 or 6 or something, I forget where I left off, and I encountered an enemy in the game that was level 81. So obviously you're meant to come back and handle that stuff later. This is good in the sense that once you're finished with an area in a JRPG, you're typically like done with it, that's it, you don't go back. But in this case, there are actual reasons to go back, there's stuff to do. There will be additional quests and higher level enemies and things of that sort, so that's cool. You will see a fair share of scantily clad females in the game, and so expect the usual round of suspects to be complaining online. You know, the the SJW lefties that masquerade as game journalists, and also your fair share of fake gamers like Anita Sarkeesian that may throw accusations of sexism toward the game. Those are stupid, but I will admit that they go a little over the top in a lot of these JRPGs. Sometimes the outfits just seem kind of silly and make it harder to take the characters seriously when, you know, they're wearing something that looks more suitable to the beach rather than in combat. You can and will die if you take on too many enemies at once, so it's good to see that the game is not just a, you know, press the A button and just fly through it. So far, I can't say whether this game is worth $60 or not. I haven't made it nearly far enough. As with all JRPGs, you need to get quite a ways in to really know what you're in for, but I'll complete my final review of the game when I do finish it, whenever that is. Who knows? I'm Fox with FoxeoGames, and I will see you guys next time.